Okay, good evening, everybody. This is Robert Shaw coming to you from my office, and like so many of us, we're spending a lot of time talking to our laptops. I don't think you can see my face, which, trust me, is no loss, but you can, of course, see the website, and I'm just going to start with a couple of comments here, and then we're going to turn it over to Mr. Martin, and we're going to go ahead and go get started. He also sent out earlier some information about how to submit some questions. But feel free, if you have questions that you think of later, email us, however, whatever the case may be, and we'd be happy to help you. But we're looking forward to this. It's great that we think, we're hoping, we're pushing, if things go our way, that we're going to be able to have a great ceremony for the Roswell High School class of 2021. So thank you again to those of you who are joining us. We did a similar presentation for the students yesterday, so if you're able to tune in, you'll probably hear some of the same things again, and we're also going to record this and post it online, including the presentation we did with the students yesterday. So, for me, graduation is always a great event. It is the culmination of the work that we do. It's what we're striving for, to get as many of our kids, if not all of them, across the stage and graduated. And this one is a little bit special because this is my four-year class. Hard to believe that 4 years have gone by already, but I started with these young people when they were freshmen. And it's been great to grow with them and see them become ninth graders all the way up to seniors who have done some amazing things. So thank you for the privilege of being able to lead the school, and thank you for trusting us with your students. It has been incredible, and I know that the next month and the ceremonies and celebrations we have for them are going to be great as well. So I do want to thank Mr. Martin, and we have a graduation committee. We have a whole army of people that work behind the scenes to put on this event. We also, of course, are developing a really good relationship with Ameris Bank Stadium, and those folks have been great, even as we've been working through COVID protocols and a lot of questions. So we really appreciate them as well. I do want to reiterate what I shared with the students last night, in the sense that, like I said, of all the things that we do, the concerts, the performances, the ball games, the clubs, the induction ceremonies, honors night, VIP, graduation is the most important. Like I said before, this is what we work towards, to grow up our Hornets and send them out into the real world. So it is important that it go very, very well. It is certainly a celebration, and your students have so much to be proud of, and we want them to be excited. But I also reminded them that at the end of the day, it is a ceremony. And so we want to make sure that ceremony looks good, that it's respectful, and that it really represents our school. So in the senior letter, which Mr. Martin is going to go through, there are a lot of expectations for your students, where they need to be, how they need to be dressed, which is very important, because we want to make sure, for those of you who have students that are athletes, or maybe they're in the fine arts, you know that you perform like you practice. So we want to practice well, we want to prepare well, and we want to make sure the kids know where they're supposed to be, how they're supposed to be dressed, and doing what they're supposed to do. I also reminded them, don't do anything that uses bad judgment in the next month that it's going to preclude them from participating in the ceremony. We want all our kids to walk across the stage. We want them to make good decisions. So reiterate to them that, that we want to make sure that they're able to participate in the ceremony, and don't do anything that violates the student code of conduct or the law, or anything else serious that gets them into any trouble. So as we always tell them, right, be smart, use your good judgment, and you know right from wrong. I do want to add one thing that Mr. Martin's going to talk about, and that's senior clearance. So for those returning Hornet parents, senior clearance is a little bit new. We have, as a result of the COVID pandemic, but even before that, our kids have thousands and thousands of dollars worth of our stuff, everything from sports equipment to textbooks, of course, their devices, band instruments, science equipment, all kinds of things. And we have to get that stuff back. So we are actually meeting with the teachers and other people who are responsible for this. They are going to be charged with the responsibility of reaching out to the students to let them know if they owe us something. But it is also important for the students to take ownership of this and reach out to the media center, their teacher, their band director, their coach, and just make sure that they don't owe anything. Mr. Martin will go into a little detail about how senior clearance works, but this is basically them clearing, saying, hey, I've turned in everything. I don't owe the school anything. And again, with budgets as tight as they are, we need to get back as much of our stuff from our seniors as we can. So that's something new this year, and it's something I've done at other schools, and it works pretty well. And again, as we go through tonight, you may have some questions about that. Feel free to ask those as well. The last thing I'll say is, as we're working through the the ceremony and preparing for the end of the year, of course, everything is in flux because we are still working through a global pandemic. So there may be changes. We are doing and endeavoring to communicate those changes as quickly as we can to make sure that you have the information that you need. So if you're not getting emails from me or from the school, please check with that. Make sure we have the right email address. Check our website. The senior letter, we update that every time there's changes, and it's dated at the top. So it should say, I think this latest one says April 13th. So continue to check, ask questions. Let's make sure the lines of communication are open. Right now, I'm knocking on wood there. It looks like we're going to be able to have a great end of the year for the class of 2021. So we hope we're able to do that. But if something changes, we will certainly let you know. So before I turn it over to Mr. Martin, I just want to close the way I started. Thank you, thank you, thank you. The support from our community this year has been incredible. Yes, we've lost a lot. The class of 2021 has lost a lot in activities and things like that. But if we can get to graduation and get them onto the next stage of their life and really give them a end of the year and a ceremony that they deserve, we're going to chalk that up as a win. So thank you again. I will turn it over to Mr. Martin. And just as a little side note, we have senior night for girls lacrosse and baseball tonight. So I'm going to actually transition to my phone, but I will still be tuned into the meeting. And again, thank you. So proud of the class of 21. They're great young people, and they're going to go on and do great things. So thank you. And with that being said, Mr. Martin, it is all yours.
Good evening, senior parents. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. My name is Josh Martin. I am the AP over seniors. I'm also over graduation and scheduling, so you probably got some emails from me in the past about scheduling your students. I want to pick up where Dr. Shaw left off and just say a huge thank you. Thank you for the kids that you've raised. I've had a ball working with your kids from junior year to senior year. They've always been respectful. Even when they made mistakes, we work through them, and you've got good kids. So we're so proud of our seniors. We appreciate that from you. Also want to say thank you for all you've done this year. It's been a difficult school year in many ways, but the things you've done in terms of gifts for the seniors, helping the teachers, just the little messages you send, emails, all those things have helped our staff get through the year, helped our students get through the year, and we really could not have done it without you. So thank you so much for all the things you've done this year to make it a good one. I know it's not been easy, but we appreciate you so much. I'm going to cover a good bit of content tonight, and if you're in this meeting, chances are you've read the senior letter, and I'm going to kind of clarify some of these things and go a little bit deeper on some of the questions you might have. But at the end of this, or during even, if you have questions, if you have concerns that you feel like I didn't cover, please use the Microsoft form link that I sent out this afternoon to submit a question, or email it to me personally, and I'd be glad to help. But at the end of the session tonight, I'll go back to that Microsoft form, and at the end of this, I will answer any questions that are still lingering after the presentation. Okay, to start, I want to make sure that we're all clear on where this information is. If you go to the Roswell High School website, which is what's on your screen right now, and you scroll down a little bit, we've devoted a lot of our website real estate just to seniors and making sure they're clear on senior picnic news, the revised senior letter that we'll go over in a few minutes here, cap and gown distribution, graduation announcements. A lot of this is where you'll go if you have questions about where, when, how this next few weeks will go. But for tonight, I'm going to go to this revised senior letter and kind of highlight some of the important things that you need to know for the next few weeks, and then for the actual ceremony itself that you may have questions about. I'm going to go in order of the letter, but I'm going to slow down on the important parts here and highlight questions you might have about graduation and really what pertains to parents as opposed to what pertains to students. So yesterday we began our cap and gown distribution. We had a lot of seniors come to the building and go ahead and get their cap and gown. I do want to say that for students with last name S, T, or W, there was a mix-up with the shipping. Your cap and gown was ordered, but the shipment was lost in delivery. It's out on a truck somewhere, actually. We've reordered that, those last names, just in case that shipment is not recovered, and it should be here in about a week. Once those cap and gowns come in, we will reach out to families and say that they've arrived. But please realize that they were ordered. They're on a truck somewhere, but unfortunately they got lost in the shipment. If you have not ordered your cap and gown yet, there is still an opportunity to do that. What you need to do is go to the Balfour website, gabalfour.com, and go and order that as quickly as you can. There is a $15 ship to your home fee included there, but we want to make sure that every senior that's graduating is decked out in the right gear, in the right apparel. If you have trouble paying for that fee, we understand that. Please reach out to Valerie Rogers in Student Services, and we'll do whatever we can to support you and your family if you are in need. You know, a lot of families are hurting right now, but the Roswell community will rally and make sure that you're taken care of if you are in need. Okay, a lot of this is directed to students here, to making sure that they understand to make good choices over the next few weeks. You know, you hate to have a senior make a bad decision that might derail walking at graduation or even graduating at all. So please just communicate to your students that school is still happening. They're still being held accountable for their actions. We don't want to, you know, have any adverse consequences assigned, but make sure they understand that they are being responsible and making good choices over the next few weeks. Okay, 4 weeks from tomorrow. 4 weeks from tomorrow, that's coming up quick here. Your senior will be going into their last round of if you want to call it finals or final assessments of their high school career. So Friday, May 14th is when that last phase begins. And first and second period, they'll take their final summative assessment. If they have finished all of their assignments for that class and they don't need to take that final, they do not have to come into school for that first and second period. That's very possible. But right after that second period ends, around 10:30 on Friday, May 14th, we'll have our yearbook dedication and we'll have our senior picnic, which we'll go over in a few minutes here. But that happens that Friday as well. Monday, May 17th, they have finals 3 and 4. They do not need to come in for first and second period when they have finals on Monday. Okay, so they can sleep in a little bit or study before that last round of finals, and they can go home after their 4th period. If they need to stick around because they ride the bus, that is fine. We'll have a place for them, but they don't have to stick around for that 5th and 6th period. And then on Tuesday, May 18th, again, they don't have to come from 1st through 4th period. Just show up for your 5th and 6th period classes, knock that last assignment out, and they'll be good. Okay, so those are your finals, making sure their grades are taken care of. Senior teachers will be completing senior grades that following day, Wednesday, May 19th. And I told the seniors this yesterday, make sure you don't put your teacher in a tough spot where you're trying to turn work in, 5 assignments in that last Tuesday and say, hey, could you grade this by tomorrow? I've got 5 research papers for you to grade. That's a tough spot to put teachers in, and actually incomplete should be turned in by May 10th. But just make sure you're staying on top of your seniors and they turn all their work in and they're in good shape going into that last few days. Okay, Dr. Shaw alluded to this, and this is new to Roswell for this year, and it's important more than ever that we get sports uniforms, orchestra equipment, textbooks, checkouts from the library, student devices. All of those things cost the school hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars when you add it all up. Just the devices alone is a huge expense for the school. And those devices will go to new students the following year. So it's really important that we get these things back in an orderly fashion. What will be happening over the next few weeks is students will be getting contacted by their coach, by their band teacher, from the media center about anything that's outstanding or fees or fines that are outstanding. We don't want this senior clearance day, Thursday, May 20th, to be a turn-in day. This is really a day just for clearance to make sure that everything's in, you're checked off, everything's good. Leading up to that date, leading up to May 20th, that's when you should be turning in your textbooks, turn in your device, turn in your orchestra equipment. Do those things in advance so that last day is as smooth as possible and we get students in and out of here and get them cleared for graduation. It is set up by time, by last name. Students need to kind of line up their rides for that day. We hope that they can come in, go through the clearance checkout line in the gym, get checked out, they're all good to go. But if they're not, if they, let's say they didn't do their senior exit survey, we'll have a chance for them to do that right then and there. Let's say they need to pay for their school device because it's damaged, or they lost their pen, or they lost their charger. We'll have a payment system set up there. It needs to be paid in cash, but again, this is a time to kind of just do the final check through. This is not the time to turn in 10 textbooks, turn in missing work from, or missing library fines from 3 years ago. That should be happening over the next few weeks, next few days. Okay, after senior clearance is completed, your senior's been cleared to graduate. The following day, Friday, May 21st, this is the Friday before graduation, at 7:45, we will invite our seniors to have a senior breakfast. We are going to have Chick-fil-A catering some biscuits and meals for our kids in the senior pavilion. Good chance for kids to come meet, gather one more time in the morning there. And then at 8:30, we'll have our graduation practice. This is a formal run through of graduation. And when I say formal, students should not be showing up in, tank tops and short shorts, ready to go to the pool. They should be here for a formal practice, a formal run through of graduation, as it will go down on that following Monday. So there is a dress code here. We talked about this with our seniors yesterday, but seniors should be dressed appropriately for that senior graduation practice. Now here's the part that you kind of all been waiting for. How does my senior get their tickets for graduation? What does the seating look like? How does this process work for the actual ceremony? If you tune out a little bit, come back to me because this is the part that a lot of you have questions about. So the graduation ceremony itself is set to take place on Monday, May 24th at 8 p.m. This was originally planned for 7 p.m., but due to a graduation happening before ours in the afternoon, Ameris Bank needed an extra hour to go ahead and clean out the venue, sanitize everything, make sure it's all set up for Roswell High School. That's why it got pushed back to 8 p.m. The venue, Ameris Bank Amphitheater, we had our graduation there 2 years ago. It's a beautiful place. It's a really nice venue to hold a graduation. Most Fulton County schools, North Fulton schools, are having their graduations at that venue. It's kind of an indoor-outdoor feel. It is an amphitheater, and it does have coverage, a roof coverage, in case of rain, but it is outdoors, which helps us a little bit with the COVID restrictions. But going back to how do you get tickets? So the day of graduation practice, at the conclusion of that practice, each student will receive 4 tickets for their family. That's not a number that we came up with arbitrarily. That number came to us from Ameris Bank and their restrictions on seating. It is a private venue, and really anything that Roswell High School says doesn't trump what this private venue does as far as their seating goes. Now, a lot of you have already reached out and asked, will there be extra tickets? Can I sign up or do something to get an extra ticket or 2 extra tickets? Right now, we do hope to have some extras, and the process for handing those out right now is at the conclusion of graduation practice on that Friday before graduation. Any senior who needs more than the 4 allotted tickets will simply stick around after graduation practice, and we'll have them, basically in a row or in a line, and we'll go through and hand each senior 1 additional ticket until we've gone through every senior and they've gotten 1 additional ticket. We will then ask our seniors, okay, if you're good, if you're set, you can leave now, and whoever remains and says you need extra tickets, whatever we have left, we'll hand out 1 at a time until every senior has an additional ticket at that point. And we'll continue to do that process until we're simply out of tickets. That's really the fairest, most equitable way we can do this. It's not really fair to say, okay, this family gets 10 tickets and this family gets 4 and this family gets 7. We're not going to be able to pick and choose who gets those extras. I know, we all want to have those extra tickets, and believe me, I wish we could have 10 tickets for everybody, but that's the process we'll go through to get those extra tickets out. Understand if you do not get the extra tickets that you desire or want, we will be live streaming the graduation. So, you know, if worse comes to worse, and we certainly hope it doesn't, if a family member cannot come in person to graduation, we will be able to live stream the event and make sure that everyone can at least see the graduation and hear the speeches and see that, you know, that walk across the stage, which we all want to see. Okay, I'm going to switch over now and look at what does seating look like at the graduation venue. So this is a shot, an aerial view of a Marist Bank amphitheater. And they have some restrictions that they've posed here for safety reasons, obviously. But this is what it kind of looks like as of right now. So our graduates, all of our seniors, will be in this lower bowl here. They'll be 4 feet apart with individual seats. And we're hoping, and it should be fine, for every senior to sit in this lower bowl. A lot of our teachers, staff, will be down here with the seniors, sitting with them. And then others who can't sit with our seniors will be in that next area here of boxes. Okay. For our parents, for our families, if you notice, you've got your 100, that's what they call 100 level seats here. And talking to a Marist, this is what it'll look like. There will not be assigned seats per se, and they won't be roped off per se. What they will do is they will essentially block off every other row. And for families that are sitting in units of 4 or 2 or 5 or 6, if you get an extra ticket, you'll just sit with your family unit, and then after your family unit ends, you'll skip a seat, or maybe 2 seats if you feel more comfortable that way. And then the next family unit will sit in that next 2, 3, 4 seats, and then you'll skip a seat and keep that going all the way across the row. Okay, so a Marist is not going to you know, divvy out 4 seats or 2 seats or have you sign up. It's really kind of an honor code. You know, families sit together and protect the family beside you by skipping a seat. That is what they have asked of our families. That will hold about 1,700 people. Okay, if we do that, you know, in a good way. Behind that, and all this is covered, has a roof covering here. Behind that, you have the lawn that is not covered. You'll have 800 seats on the lawn, and those will be kind of lined up in pods of 4. So if your family feels comfortable sitting, you know, a unit of 4 here on the lawn, you don't feel the need to be up close and around a bigger group, by all means, you can be on that lawn. They'll have chairs set up in 4s, and you can view the graduation from there. Any seat, any place in this venue is really nice. There are giant screens where you can witness all the action and see it happening, and it should be nice. It'll be, you know, 8 o'clock, 8:30 at night. You know, the heat shouldn't be a big problem as it was 2 years ago when we graduated 2 o'clock in the afternoon. That was rough, but you know, at 8 o'clock at night, it shouldn't be a problem. Okay, but that is the seating arrangement. When you walk into a Marist, they will temperature check every individual and make sure there's no fevers coming into the building. And they will also mandate masks as of right now, at least. Again, a private venue, we don't have say-so over that. But as all of our students have been doing all year, they will be asked to be masked, and our families as well will be asked to wear masks during the event. So we appreciate your cooperation with that. Okay, so that's the venue itself, that's seating, that's how we're getting tickets out. To go back to how do you get to the venue, or the logistical side of this, there are a few things here for our parents and guests. You will park in Lot A. We'll be happy to supply you with a map or directions on how to get to Lot A at a Marist Bank. But it's very close to the venue. There's not a lot of walking or things like that to get to a Marist once you're in the parking there. It's right beside it. So you'll be in lot A. Parking will open up at 6 o'clock. The venue gates will open up at 7 o'clock. And because we do not have assigned seats, because we don't have seats that are for a certain seat, it really is first come, first serve for families. I know that a lot of you will want to be there and be there early to get the seat that you want, to get a good view of graduation. But the gates do open at 7. They will go ahead and temperature check, and then you'll be able to grab your seat from there. If you need special arrangements, maybe it's a special seating arrangement for someone in a wheelchair or special circumstance, please reach out to Karen Johnson by May 7th. By all means, we are happy to accommodate those guests that need special seating or parking for that matter. But please reach out to Karen Johnson, and her email is here in the senior letter, by May 7th. Okay, seniors are a little bit different on where they park and where they go, but we've talked about that with them. We'll cover this again with our seniors at graduation practice, but they're in the C lot, and they're going to assemble around 6:30, get lined up, ready to go for the walk. We'll go over that with the seniors again. We do want to make sure that our seniors are dressed and sharp and looking good for graduation. We ask that our young men wear dark slacks, dark socks, dark shoes with a white shirt. For our young ladies, we would like them to wear flats. I would recommend that. I worked at graduation a few years ago where a young lady fell about 5 or 6 times consecutively while walking across the football field in heels. And I felt very bad for her, but flats are definitely recommended as you walk across the stairs and the stage and the uneven ramps at graduation. All right, honor cords, regalia, that's happening right now for kids that are getting honor cord. They're available in student services. That is for students who have an 88 average or above. And again, those are available right now. If you have students that were in NHS or having other cords, talk to the individual sponsor of that club, and they'll be glad to help you getting those cords. Right after graduation has completed, so the speeches are done, your son or daughter's walked across the stage and shook Dr. Shaw's hand. As soon as that's done, we're hoping to hand out diplomas right after graduation. It's still in the planning phase right now, but what we're hoping is that even just in the row they're in, as they exit that row, we will hand them their diploma to put in their diploma cover, as opposed to going to some other place at the venue, trying to find where it's at, find the right table, find the right person. We're hoping to make that a quick process so we can get out of there. Okay, we're wrapping up soon here. I appreciate your attention. Let's go through some of this. The last part we want to talk about is the things that seniors have to do in order to get to that point of graduating. So getting through senior clearance, we talked about. But here's some final things that seniors need to do and think about over the next few days, next few weeks. Every Fulton County senior has to complete a senior exit survey. And this is through the Naviance system. It's in ClassLink. And this tells the district, what is your student doing after graduation? Are they going to the military, a 2-year school, a 4-year school? Are they taking a gap year? Are they going to work? Military, all those options they have. This gives the district some idea about what our seniors are doing. For seniors that are going to college, this is where they will go ahead and request their transcript to be sent to their colleges. Again, this is through Naviance. You'll see this word quite a bit in this last page here. The requirement for transcript request is May 13th. Our athletes, this is important to make sure that their eligibility center or eligibility gets cleared for their college. So make sure that happens. Now, if a student is undecided right now, they haven't figured out exactly where they're going to go to college, that is fine. That is perfectly okay. We understand that. But this final deadline of May 26th down here, that's the final deadline for transcripts to be requested to make sure that they can get sent out to the universities and colleges, and that your student can get enrolled into those colleges in a timely fashion. I'm not saying it can't happen after that. We have some seniors that make decisions very late. But in order to be sure and get those transcripts sent off in a timely manner, May 26th is that final deadline. All right, another thing to consider here, and this is scrolling down a little bit, we really want to hear about the honors and the recognitions that your seniors have gotten. It may be a scholarship, academic, athletic. It might be a personal club, an Optimist club may have given your student a scholarship. We'd love to hear about those things. We love to honor them in the graduation program. So again, in Naviance, by April 26th, which is coming up in a few days here, if your student has a scholarship they got from a college, please have them enter that information in Naviance, and we'll make sure that gets included in the graduation program. One of the cool things about having worked at Roswell High School for a few years, at graduation they always talk about how much scholarship money was awarded to that senior class. And when you see, hundreds of thousands of dollars or even millions of dollars being given to your senior class, it really shows the work that they put in over their high school career, what they've done in athletics or what service they put in from service organizations. So again, have your senior do that, even if they're not taking that scholarship money to that school. They might have 4 offers from 4 different schools. Include all of those in Naviance, and that's a great honor for our seniors to be recognized for. Okay, a few final notes here before we wrap up. Our teachers are working really hard right now to make sure that they're communicating what assignments are missing, what grades need to be turned in, if they're at risk of failing. We certainly hope they're not. What we don't have control over are some of these online courses. And when I say online, I'm talking about Fulton Virtual or Georgia Virtual schools. So if you have a student who's in Fulton Virtual or Georgia Virtual, please make sure that they're on top of those classes. Again, Roswell doesn't have jurisdiction over a Georgia Virtual class or a Fulton Virtual class. So we can't really extend deadlines or make sure that work's being turned in like we can for our own kids. So please make sure that those kids have turned in their work and they're on top of those online classes before it's too late. And that would be much appreciated. All right, and then closing out here, just a few final fun things for our seniors to think about and what's coming up here. The Friday before not before graduation, the Friday of their first day of finals, Friday the 14th, they get that yearbook dedication. I know that they look forward to that, signing their friends' yearbooks and really having that time together to see this last year of pictures is always fun. A senior picnic right after that. We've got some fun things planned for the kids, a lunch. I think a petting zoo is getting lined up right now. So some fun things for the senior picnic. Baccalaureate will take place Sunday, May 23rd. There are going to be 2 services, one at 3 and one to 5. This is not a Roswell High School sponsored or run event, but if you have questions about Baccalaureate, please reach out to these emails below. Ms. Karen Helsing or Ms. Karen Bruner will be glad to help you with the Baccalaureate service. Again, a very nice service where seniors can gather and really be recognized for their accomplishments. Senior breakfast, again, is happening the day that graduation practice happens. Nice chance to send our seniors off here. And then lastly, and this is kind of still up in the air, graduation walks or graduate walks. That's a nice thing that happens for our seniors. They usually go to their elementary schools or middle schools. In the past, they've walked the halls, and the little 7, 8, 9, 10-year-olds are there looking up to them and saying, one day that'll be me. Some schools are allowing this and some schools aren't. We're putting together a list right now. Some schools are doing an outdoor walk, which will be great. Some schools are doing a virtual walk, and some schools are not going to do anything this year, understandably. So we're putting that list together right now. But if you have questions about your feeder school and where you went to elementary school or middle school, please reach out to them. But again, we're putting together a list right now of what those schools plan to do. All right, in closing, I would recommend that you print off this senior letter off the website and go ahead and just tack this senior calendar onto the fridge or put it in your seniors, the front page of their notebook. and have them just check off as they go through here. Did you do your senior exit survey? Did you turn in your Naviance requirements? Did you put your scholarship stuff in the Naviance? And as the days go on, just check those off and make sure everybody's clear on what's coming up and the deadlines that are happening, so that we don't miss anything and have any issues going forward here. Okay, with that, I'm going to go ahead and turn to the Microsoft form that we opened up to see if there are any questions that we didn't cover in this meeting. And I'd be glad to answer those now, or after this meeting takes place, I'd be happy to do that. Okay, I've got some questions here. I'm sure some of these will cover the same topics, so bear with me as I kind of go through each question here. Okay, can families get more than 4 tickets for graduation? Yes, they can. We hope to hand out those tickets after graduation practice, but again, they'll be one at a time, and we can't make guarantees that you will get your 6 or 7 or 8 tickets, but we will certainly do everything we can to make sure that every family who needs an extra ticket will get one. Will graduation be inside? It's an indoor-outdoor venue. It's an amphitheater, so there is roof coverage. If it does rain, we will be under a roof at least, but it'll be airy enough that it will help with some of the COVID restrictions they put in place. A cap and gown donation, again, yes, if you need help with a cap and gown, reach out to Valerie Rogers. We're glad to support families that need help right now in any way that we can. Will you please remind parents to check out the Hornet Notes information on the website and make sure they're writing and asking for Hornet Notes for the class of 2021? Yes, thank you for reminding me of that. It's a great little message we can send to our seniors that our parents really care about the seniors, and send them out with a nice handwritten note. So look out for that, for Hornets Notes information on the website, and make sure they're writing and asking for Hornet Notes for the class of 2021. Will there be a senior class picture? That's a question I don't have an answer to right now. Let me get with our senior class sponsor, Ms. Hardigan, and check up on that. I don't know that it's in the works, but I will certainly follow up with that. Do remote digital students take their final exams online or in the building? Remote students can continue to take their assessments the way they've done it all year. We are lined up for that, but the graduation practice itself, that will need to be done in person for all seniors, including senior clearance. So the finals themselves, if they're remote, they can continue to take those assessments remotely, but the other processes need to be done face-to-face. When is the first day to turn in laptops? Thank you so much. That's a great question. For seniors that are done with their devices and they say, okay, I don't need my device for the finals, I can turn this in now. They will have a chance to turn those in the week before finals. We're putting together a schedule right now, basically by last name again, where seniors can come in, turn their device, make sure there's no cracks or damage, pay any fines they need to pay, and that count will be coming out soon, shortly. If your senior does need their device for finals, by all means, they can keep those. And the day after that last final, which is that Wednesday, they can turn in their device and get cleared for senior clearance. So again, that count will come out shortly about when students will turn their devices in. But if they're done, by all means, get them in earlier rather than later. What do we do with lunchroom balances on our students' accounts? If there's a balance left, does that get refunded, or can it be donated to the school? Great question. Let me follow up on that one. I'm sorry, I don't have an answer to that either right now, but I will certainly follow up on lunchroom balances. If there's money left on there, I'm sure the school can certainly use that to pay for other things or have it refunded to the school. but I'll look into that. Do the seniors go to school on Wednesday, May 19th? Good question. No, they do not. So they take their last final on Tuesday. That next day, senior teachers will be grading their finals, getting all their grades posted. And if seniors don't return their device that day, they can stay home, relax, refresh. It's a good day for them to kind of celebrate those last few days of finals. Who and how to return the devices or textbooks before May 20th. Miss Sarah Alligood is our Media Center specialist. If you have questions about turning your device in early, she'll be the first contact person to talk to about devices being turned in. Dr. Erica Zeidler. Erica Zeidler is our textbook, the person over textbooks this year. And again, they're working through a process to get those turned in. And we will be communicating that with our seniors over the coming days on how to get those things in. It's a big undertaking to get hundreds and hundreds of books and devices in from students that are remote and face-to-face, but they're developing a plan for that as we speak. How do students check in advance regarding what is outstanding for senior clearance? Is there a certain person to go to about this? This is something that we'll be kind of talking about when you're trying to work through. There are so many different unique places where school funds could be, athletics, fine arts, art, media center, all these places where money could be. It's really hard to put that in one place, but what we're trying to do is ask the individual coach, the individual teacher, the individual media center specialist, proactively reach out to students, reach out to families so there's no surprises on senior clearance. We certainly do not want your senior to show up on senior clearance day and say, I didn't know I had to turn in X or turn in Y. It's not meant to be a catch or a surprise. So again, over the coming days, we should be sending out notices, notifying parents or students of any outstanding balances so that's not a surprise on senior clearance. So a question about at graduation, just the decor of the ceremony. Can we please ban noisemakers, air horns? Certainly, by all means, we do not want the sound or the noise coming from one senior to detract from another. So it is sad if a senior's name is being announced and you don't get to hear that senior name because of an air horn going off or because an applause is going on for longer than usual. By all means, we don't want to say you can't clap or cheer for your student. That's really understandable. But please do respect the other families that are coming after your senior, after your student, so that we can hear every senior's name during the ceremony. Who is designated to the lawn area? Seating for graduation, again, is not assigned. I think it's fair to ask that if you're a family that knows that sitting in the front is not a priority, maybe you've got a young family or young kids that don't mind sitting on the lawn, if that's okay with your family, and you're generous to sit back on the lawn and choose those seats, I think that would be nice. But again, we're not going to ascribe or prescribe that you have to sit at the lawn or you get to sit in a certain area. It will basically be, by lack of a better term, first come, first serve on seating. But the lawn is not a bad seat. It should be at night. There are big screens where you can view the event, but we will not be saying who gets to sit where during the graduation. All right, I got a few more questions here and we'll wrap up. Is the final transcript request not available to request prior to May 13th? Currently, it only shows initial and mid-year. They should be available. If you have questions about the transcript request process, please reach out to your senior counselor. They can help you with that process. If Naviance is not allowing that, they can certainly assist with that process. But I will double check and make sure that has been opened up to request those earlier. Hi, can you talk about the ladies' dresses, the length or the color? There are a lot of talks about dresses not being white. A lot of talking about dresses not being in white. It needs to be short so it won't show from the gown. Can you talk about this, please? Sure. So in the senior letter, and I did not cover this verbally, we would ask that dresses or gowns that young ladies wear don't go past the black graduation gown. And that's really just for consistency's sake. You know, if you have a yellow dress or a green dress or a purple dress or a red dress with all those different colors coming under the graduation gown, it can detract from the look of the entire graduating class as you walk across the stage. So just for consistency's sake, we would ask that those dresses just come just above that length of the gown, of the graduation gown, and that will help with the consistency of the look of the graduates. Same for the boys with having black pants, black shoes, black socks. It makes everybody a little bit more uniform, and it really makes the graduation class look sharp as opposed to a bit of a more mismatched group. For a student not going to college until next spring, what's the deadline for requesting their transcript? That process will be handled with our counselor. We do have those situations, you know, it happens all the time and it's not a problem, but the counselor will be able to help you in lining up that transcript for the college next spring as opposed to this fall. But again, that's not a problem. And the last question I have here, if you are full-time dual enrollment, Kennesaw State, will the grades make it to you fast enough, or do we have to request something special? Oftentimes our dual enrollment come in earlier than other grades, so those should be fine. Again, if you want to check with your counselor, and I keep on saying that, the counselors have knowledge about certain colleges and when dual enrollment grades come in from certain places. Malongo McKenge, or Miss McKenge in the counseling office is over dual enrollment, and she has access to actual college grade deadlines. But our dual enrollment students should be fine as far as graduating and being cleared. That should not be a problem. The last few just rolled in here. I'll read these last three and then I'll close this down. Can you also talk about the photo opportunity after graduation? You know, it's a Roswell High School tradition for seniors to come to the football field after graduation and take pictures with family and friends, and we certainly want to honor that. What we've asked our seniors is that you come that next day, that Tuesday after graduation, the 25th. Come to the football field, bring friends and family, and take pictures with good daylight hours. You know, we don't want our staff to be here until, you know, 1 a.m., 2 a.m. that graduation night. We do have school the next day, so we would ask you wait for pictures after the ceremony until the following day, as opposed to coming that night to the field. Does the student need a ticket for graduation? So I'm sorry if I didn't clarify that. They do not. The 4 tickets that they'll receive are for their family. The one ticket does not, you know, one of the tickets is not for the graduate themselves. So when you come with your family to the venue, you'll have 4 tickets, not counting your senior. So that could be, you know, 2 parents, a son and a daughter. The graduate will be behind the stage getting ready to walk out. One of those 4 tickets is not for the graduate themselves. And the last question I have is, do online students need to be on campus for finals? Again, no, they do not. As long as they're remote, they can take those finals remotely. That would be fine. Okay, well, if I missed a question, I will certainly go through this tomorrow or later tonight and comb through those one more time to make sure I answered everything. If I skipped yours, I apologize. But there's a lot of information covered here. There certainly will be more questions as we go through the process over the next few weeks. But I can promise that there are a lot of people that are planning and organizing and going over this stuff to make sure that your family, that your senior gets the recognition they deserve and have the ceremony that they deserve, and to honor them for their last 4 years. So again, I want to say thank you for joining us tonight. It is an honor to work at Roswell with your seniors. I'm so proud of the student, of the person that we raised in this community. Couldn't be prouder of our seniors. So thank you again so much for joining us tonight. If you have questions, please email me personally or fill out the Microsoft form, and we will answer those questions as soon as we possibly can. But stay safe, take care, and we look forward to seeing you in a few weeks at the ceremony. Have a nice night.